Hi, everyone. It's Lindsay with the Action Hour. Welcome to my show. I have an amazing show for you today. I have two world-class athletes with me today, Rebekah Keat and Siri Lindley. Both hold two-time world champion. Siri is two-time world champion, world number one triathlete. And Rebekah, two-time junior world champion, three-time national champion athlete. And the most important thing not the most important, one of the most amazing things right now is they are working to stop the slaughter of horses. But it's very urgent. Ladies, thank you for being here. Can you just address the fact of why it is so urgent? Rebekah, please do. Would you like to take that?
I would love to. Sorry about the noise, guys. We actually have some construction going on down the road. So
you can hear.
Good. Yeah, so the HR 961 Safe American Food Export Act has been sitting in committee for a long time, and we have 14 days left of Congress to get this bill to the floor to be voted on, and it's up to the public to really be involved and get behind us for this big push that is so needed. It's been sitting there for 19 years, and it's time to get this bill to the floor to vote. 80% of Americans want it. We are giving everything we can in these last 14 days to get it to the floor, and we'd love the public to be able to help us do that.
Yes, and let me just bring out here let me just show the steps. It is very easy to take action on this, and I want to just show this, that you can go to their website, horsesinOurHand.org, horsesinOurhands.org. And the simple steps to take are right here. You click on the green button, which takes you to the second page where you simply put in your street address, and then you will take you to your representative. So you've made it super easy for people to be able to take action on this, but they need to take action now. Is that correct?
That's great, Lindsay. Thank you for explaining that. It really is simple. It honestly takes less than 60 seconds. A horse is being slaughtered every 8 minutes. It's horrific. So if you can just, for 1 minute of your time, just go in there and click it. We do require you to verify your contact details, and Congress requires that, not us. It needs to be done to verify your address, but it's so simple. And we've had 86,000 emails sent in the last 3 months, more than any big animal group. So our work is really, really progressing.
Right. And Siri, would you talk a little bit about why you guys got involved in this project? Can you talk about that?
A horse named Savannah, and I really hadn't had much experience with horses at all, but this horse came into my life and literally changed my life, took me to all new levels of self-discovery and reduced my anxiety, and I found in me this courage and this bravery I never even knew existed. And one day I thought, what am I rescuing her from? Like, why do I need to rescue a horse? And I got online and I Googled it, and this video came up of the most horrific, brutal slaughter of horses, where they are shot in the head multiple times and they're dismembered before they're even dead. They're bleeding out. They're still alive. Their friends are watching. I fell to the ground. I was so devastated. I fell to the ground, not being dramatic, but I truly did. And I was crying. And my wife came running up the stairs thinking that somebody had died. And I pointed at the screen, and she watched what I had been watching, and she started crying. And we looked at each other, and we knew that our lives were never going to be the same again, that we had to do something about this. And it's not like we didn't have other things going on. Like, we both had 2 jobs and we were so busy, but nothing else mattered. We needed to stop this brutality, this torture, this disgustingness, because these animals are such beautiful creatures. I mean, they are healers, they are teachers, they are companions. They carried us through the wars. They crossed the frontiers for us. Like, these are incredible animals. And no animal deserves this kind of cruelty, but we decided that this is our mission. We created our nonprofit, Believe Ranch and Rescue. We've rescued 117 horses in just over 3 years. But then we decided, like, this isn't enough. This needs to stop. So we created our 501c4, which is Horses in Our Hands. And that's where we're actually creating this massive, we've been running our campaign that is there to pass the SAFE Act and ban slaughter forever.
It's incredible what you guys are doing. And what else is incredible is your background. So before we go forward, I want to show the video on the opening video on your site, because just the way you told me your reaction a moment ago, I had to turn it off in a couple of seconds because I've seen it before, but people need to see this. And you've done it in a way that is, you can watch it. So I'm going to show that in a moment. Before we get into that, I would like you each of just tell us a little bit, give us a little bit about your backgrounds and what type of work you do, because I think it's so intriguing and incredible. So please, each of you, if you would, Siri, starting with you, will you talk a little bit about the medals you've won and your book, etc.?
Well, I actually, I achieved my impossible dream when I became a world champion in triathlon, because when I began the sport at 23 years old, I didn't know how to swim. I sucked. I got my butt kicked every day, last in my first race, but I felt like this was something, I'd had some trouble being rejected when I realized I was gay. And my mission was, I was kind of on this desperate mission to prove to myself that even as a gay woman, I can achieve something spectacular, that I can make a difference in this world, and that I can be loved and love myself. And triathlon offered that perfect opportunity to really find myself and take on something that seemed impossible. But 8 years later, I became a world champion, and I found a love for myself, which was a key thing. Got into coaching after that. I've coached athletes to Olympic medals and world championship crowns. And now I still coach, but I speak around the world for Tony Robbins and Kepler speakers. And it's such a gift to be able to go around the world and share my story and hopefully touch lives and make a beautiful difference in this world, not just for humans, but for animals.
Yes. And can you just give us a little synopsis, give us a little tidbit? Once I discovered this book, this is something I need to read myself. I really need to do this. And I saw it when I was going through the information you gave me. So I'm dying to know more about it. Please tell me more. And I love Tony Robbins, by the way. He was my hero as well. So.
He's amazing. Well, Lindsay, I'm sending you my book. So send me your address. It's called Surfacing: From the Depths of Self-Doubt to Winning Big and Living Fearlessly. And it's kind of my journey. I really wanted to share. It took me a while to start writing it because I knew that I needed to share absolutely everything and get so raw and so vulnerable and leave nothing out, because that's how this book would have an impact. And people have really, I don't promote it or anything, which I should, but the people that have read it have really been impacted by it. So I hope you love it. And that's actually when I discovered horses, was when I was writing my book. So coming your way, and I hope you really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you so much. Oh, that's amazing. So, and then I just want to mention also that your podcast was the #1 downloaded on the Tony Robbins website. Is that correct? Did I say that correctly?
That's right. It was the podcast that he titled it, How to Make the Decision to Do the Impossible. And first of all, I couldn't believe he was asking me to do a podcast, because at the time he'd been my mentor like my whole life. And we did this podcast, and within a year, it was his most downloaded podcast. So have a listen to that. I think it is pretty powerful. And thank you for knowing that.
Yes, and it's free to download on the website. I did download it. I was going to listen to it last night, but I fell asleep because I stayed up so late. But I'm going to listen to it tonight. That's what I love to do at night, listen to inspirational stuff before I go to bed. It drives me crazy that people that watch TV before they go to bed.
I agree.
And fill their head with all that horrible garbage. Crazy.
I agree.
Yeah. So now we want to there's one other big challenge. Do you want to speak about that? What you just told me in your life that you've conquered? Would you like to speak about that? It's only if you want to.
Yes, I have had my greatest triumph of my entire life. In November of 2019, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, and it wasn't looking great. It was extremely scary, but in the moment when I was diagnosed, as terrified as I was, as shocked as I was, as devastated as I was, I looked at my wife who was standing there, tears flooding out of her eyes. And I had never felt such a deep love before, of my love for her, her love in return. I look out the window, I see the horses. And I said, in that moment, I made the decision that this is not my time to go. I am going to survive and I am going to thrive. And every single thing that I did, every thought that I had, every move that I made was with the intention and with the focus on getting through this. And I'll never forget, I tell this story, and I think it's important that we all know this. This woman wrote and said, how can you be so positive? Don't you understand your chances of survival are less than 10%? And first of all, I couldn't believe that she was saying this to me. But then I thought about it. It reconnected me to who I am. And I wrote her back and I said, I am not a statistic. I am Siri Lindley. And I've proven in the past that the impossible is really possible. And I will prove that again. I will survive and I will triumph. And that same attitude, that same knowing of who I am and who I know my wife is, like everybody has told us that ending horse slaughter is impossible. But you know what? We've proven it before and we will prove it again, that we will ban the slaughter of horses. We will get this SAFE Act passed. And this means more to us than anything in the world. And these horses have helped me heal. They've given me a purpose in every single moment. And I know that they were so much of what I was fighting for. But I am now cancer-free. I get to live. I get to live. I get to continue this work. I get to continue loving my wife and loving everyone around me. And I'm so deeply grateful. It's the ultimate blessing and gift. And I will do everything I can with my life to make a difference in this world.
Wow, that is such an incredible and inspiring story. That
Thank you, Lindsay.
Just is so moving and so encouraging to those of us that want to see this end and feel that it can end. And we know that a lot of people, there's a couple of trolls on here putting up little laughing signs right now. I see them, but I'm not going to put their comments up. But we want to just move on because we have so much more to talk about. So Beck, please tell us how you got involved, your athletics and so forth in your journey, if you would.
Yeah, so I actually grew up on the weekends on a farm, a small little farm in Albury-Wodonga. My grandparents had cattle and sheep, and I used to try and save every single animal and continue to do so. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and just a complete affection for animals. I actually love animals more than humans most of the time. And I took up the sport of triathlon at 16 years old, and the sport was really good to me. I did it for 22 years professionally, broke the world record in 2009 along with another girl, and had several podiums. And it was really great, and it was fulfilling at the time, but that fulfillment wasn't really lasting. And as an athlete, you're always striving and looking for your next win or your next race, and crossing that finish line it's a great feeling to race, but as I said, the fulfillment was just fleeting. And when I chose to retire at a Tony Robbins UPW event that my Siri literally dragged me there, I didn't really want to go, but it was the best thing I've ever done. And I realized at that point in time that triathlon wasn't my identity, and it didn't define me. And my love and affection for animals has to be my next mission in life, and that has to be the next path. And we literally created Ranch and Rescue in 2016. We were the crazy horse women. We had 4 horses on a 1 or 2 acre property, and then we just started looking for land to expand it. And now we have 25 rescues here that we've set. Yeah, and every day you wake up and you look in their eyes, and that is what fulfillment is. That is when you know you're connected to your why. And after a couple of years of rescuing, I was like, why can't we pass the bill? And it's crazy, you always get the trolls and the haters. You'll never pass it. It's never going to happen. It's been 19 years. How are you two going to do it? And I say to them, you're talking to 2 girls that were both told they were never going to be successful in the sport. I was hit by a car, told I would never do triathlon again. I then won 2 national titles and got a world record. My wife was told she can't swim. She's never going to be a world champion. And she was 8 years later. So we are not going to stop until this bill is passed. And you can take my word for that.
Woo! I love that.
I am.
Yes.
Watch
oh my gosh.
All those no believers, like, watch this space, guys. It's going to happen.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, watch our dust, right?
Yeah.
That is so cool. And I do want to show Team Serious Club. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Oh, yes. So we decided that if we want to pass this bill and save more horses, we need to be financially free. And we're still getting there. But we created, again, honestly, I'm sorry to keep dropping Tony's name, but from the event, Business Master, we started Team Serious Tri Club, and we grew our business 400% in the first year, made enough money to save another 90 horses and create our 501c4 in our hands action fund. So it's pretty much self-funded, and we created that because we had to get some financial freedom behind us. It's now the #1 ranked. When I say it, I think, oh my God, this is just crazy that we've done this in just 3 years, but it's a #1 ranked female coach triathlon club in the world. And I do admit that my wife has incredible credentials and I leverage off her.
So do you.
But we love it because we're fulfilled by helping athletes achieve their athletic dreams and in their personal lives too. And a lot of the profits, 90% of the profits from the club go towards saving horses. So pretty awesome.
Yeah. And it's so much more than the athletics. It's just a way to conquer life in a sense. And as things become more intense and more concentrated, I think it's good. And certain things are happening now and things are all mixed up, but I think it's initiating, excuse me, a lot of change, which needs to happen. But we as individuals need a strength. And, you know, I'm not an athlete. My husband is very much into sports. And that kind of made me a little bit about it, you know, because it's on all the time, every TV in our house. But that's the fans. It's the fans that kind of irritate me a little. The athletes are amazing. And because if you, okay, I'm going to just say one thing. I'm getting a little off on here, but I won. No, you didn't do anything. You were sitting there drinking beer and eating pizza. Come on. That's the one part I don't like, but I love the idea and how you can help people become athletes, but also apply that to their lives. Mm-hmm. And we all need that right now.
Absolutely. I mean, sports definitely, encourage a way of living where you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of others, you're always figuring out how can I be my best self in every moment. And in life, I mean, these things are so incredibly important. And being able to focus, you know, instead of when you're in a moment that's hard, and as an athlete, you know, you're in a moment where maybe you're disappointed or you've had a horrible race. It's like, okay, what can I do better? How can I change my approach here and find a better way? So we're constantly growing and never, ever, ever giving up. I mean, that's the key. Like, there are going to be trolls. There are going to be naysayers. There are going to be people say that this isn't possible, but we are people that will not give up. And we're willing to try different things. And I think that the way that we've been going about this now has been really super effective and powerful, that we're getting so close. But, you know, just like team sports, you come together and we will win together and we will make this happen together. But every single person on this team, and that's all of you watching this today, yes, we all are going to have an enormous impact, but we need each and every one of you to play a part in this.
Absolutely. Now, let me see if I can play the homepage of your video here. Let me just... Wow, that was incredible. Let me just turn that off behind me. Sorry about that little technical glitch there, folks. But wow, it just says it all. Beck, can you talk about the bill and what it does? Can you talk about that for us a bit?
Yeah, it's crazy watching that video, and it's not even graphic, it's far from it. And I just get so emotional because it's time this is done. I'm sorry, I just get really, really emotional. And
No, please.
yeah, and if you saw some of the other parts, I think everyone would join our mission. So yeah, thank you so much for playing that. It's really important that people see what's happening, and the public need to know about this. There's never really been a big public service announcement or the awareness that's needed, a social campaign that's needed to bring this awareness. And that's where we realized that it's just not out there. The big animal groups haven't really done it in the past, and we decided that we would create one of the biggest campaigns ever for banning horse slaughter. And the HR 961 or the S 2006, it's a Safe American Food Export Act. It's sitting in both committees right now. They are two separate bills, but we can overcome that hurdle when we get to it. But right now, people say, why are you urging Nancy Pelosi? Well, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. And as much as some of you may like her, may not, it doesn't matter. Put that aside, because she is responsible for bringing the bill, the SAFE Act, Safe American Food Export Act, to the floor. And we have bipartisan co-sponsors. We have 239 bipartisan co-sponsors. 80% of America wants it. And we need people, the public, to just send the email to their legislators to continue to tell them to co-sponsor this bill. We have to get to 290 to bring it to the floor, and Nancy will do that. She will do that as the Speaker of the House. She supports this, and so does Jan Schakowsky and a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. It's a bipartisan issue, and it needs to be.
Oop, I think she froze the moment there. Are you back? Yeah, you froze for just a sec. I want to show people the steps again.
Jane looks like she's frozen, or maybe I'm frozen.
Oh, are you frozen? I think we're all clear now. I think no one's frozen anymore. Is that right? Siri, can we hear you? Siri?
Yeah, I can hear beautifully, yes.
Just wanted to check. So let's just show the steps again. So you go to the website, horsesinourhands.org, and you take the steps you take right here. It's the big second button over here. You can't miss it. End horse. I can't read it. It's very small. What does that say there on the button?
I believe it says end horse slaughter. Yeah.
End horse slaughter. Okay. And then you just click there, and all you have to do, you don't have to worry about finding this information for yourself. It will be come on the next screen for you. All you have to do is put your address in there, and then you will find your reps, and even the letters are written for you. If you don't have to use those, you can add to those, you can amend those, so whatever you want to do. And actually, you said there were 3 action steps to take. Can you tell what those 3 steps are? Sign the right. Go ahead. Sorry, Dwayne.
Yeah, so 3 things people could do. One will be the biggest thing really is we want the email sent to the legislators. And as you said, it's so easy. Like, we're great. We have this awesome software platform that we use. And, people sort of wonder, why do we have to enter our details? But Congress requires that to verify you. We don't require that. Congress requires that. And we have a very safe, protected one that's approved by DC, and you have to enter your name, your email, click the End Horse Slaughter button. The email's automatically sent. It's all automated. It's automatically sent to your specific legislators. You'll then get an email back from us, and you can tweet it out, or you can send it to your friends and ask them to take the action too. So there are 3 kind of steps, but the big one is just clicking that to send an email to your legislator.
Right. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is there is another tab there where you can go and get the fact sheet, which I'd like to discuss with you guys now, if we could. So if you go to that sheet, you can read extensively about this, but we're going to give you some shorter answers. But it is all spelled out, and you can do your own research as well, which I always encourage people to do. Horse slaughter is inherently cruel. Let's start with that one. Who would like to address that one?
It's just so cruel, just the way that they do it. Horses, I mean, any slaughter of any animal is cruel, but the way that they do it with horses, because they have such big heads and they're very reactive because they're prey animals, they swing their heads around, they're shot multiple times, most of the time, and they are dismembered often while they are still alive. It is so disgusting. Not just that, but before there, it's the travel to the slaughterhouses, no food, no water, can be 2 to 3 days. It's just absolutely horrific.
Right. Well, yes. When people find out this happens to farm animals as well, I was appalled when I heard that. You don't even think of that part of it. You only think of the slaughter. You don't think of them getting there. You don't think of how they're treated beforehand, because they're thought of as just objects. They're nothing more than objects. And that mindset is so incredible, and it translates over to humans as well. So if you treat animals poorly, you are going to treat humans poorly. Right. And it goes on and on and on. Right. So the second one, this is really important. Now, is it true? I don't know if anyone has heard this before. It's probably rumor, but horse meat, does it get into the American food supply, even though it is illegal here to sell it? U.S. horse meat, and it's also said to be toxic. Can you address both of those, or either of you can take either one?
Yeah, I can take that one. Horses, first of all, they're companion animals. They're not bred for human consumption. They're categorized as livestock. That's half the problem. We don't breed horses for human consumption. We breed them as companions. And, we give our horses worming vaccines. We use nail varnish on their beautiful hoofs. And that is all toxic. You read the label, it says toxic to humans, do not consume. So aside the fact that it's so brutally horrific and barbaric and inhumane, it is freaking dangerous. Like, that's why Americans, thankfully, we don't consume horse meat. There might be a small, God hope there isn't, but we don't generally consume horse meat. So it's dangerous. And if that's not enough to scare people off with how barbarically they do this, then think about how dangerous it is for a human to consume it.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one. Will horse rescue and retirement groups have the resources to take care of the unwanted horses? That comes up a lot. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, I really thought your answer was incredible, because I've thought about it myself, not just horses, but the whole thing of ending factory farming, like what's the plan? Mm-hmm. But with the horses, you have a solution. So can one of you address that?
We can both answer. Siri, do you want to go first?
You go first, and I'll go on the end.
And it is a good question. It's a legitimate question, and it's one I had to wrap my head around too, because I would say to our lobbyists, and just so you know, we're not just 2 girls who don't know about the issue. We are the heartbeat of this cause, but we have the best people behind us. We have Chris Hyde, who wrote the Safe Act bill 20 years ago. He's been undercover when horse slaughter plants were open here. He's been doing this for 20 years. He's been fighting it for 20 years. Our other lobbyist is one of the best in the States. We're the only one on the ground in DC pushing to get co-sponsors right now. The big number of groups have walked away for this year. And so we have the experience, right? So we know what it's going to take. And I know I've forgotten the question, Jane. What was the question? I just wanted to get that in as well. That was important.
If retirement groups have the resources to take care of them, and does the second question you can answer later is, does it get into the U.S. food supply?
Right. Yeah. No. So 60,000. Yes, there are 60,000 slaughtered every year. I just checked the numbers now, and thankfully, although it's way too many, there was 26,000 to date, year to date this year, shipped or slaughtered to Mexico. Haven't got the Canadian numbers, but it's around 26,000. And last year it was 44,000. So the numbers have dropped over the last 20 years. And a lot of people say, well, it's more than that. It's actually dropped from 400,000 20 years ago right down to still way too many, but thankfully only 26,000 up to this year. It's still 26,000 too many. So they've gone down. There's not going to be 60,000 horses running around needing homes. It's a demand-driven business. Kill buyers look for healthy horses. Kill buyers go and find healthy horses at auction and outbid over 1,700 rescues that I know of. There's more than that, but that go in and they want to bid for these horses, but these kill buyers outbid us every time because it's demand driven. You take away the demand and the supply is going to go down. But I do agree that breeding is an issue, and responsible horse owners need to control that, and there won't be a dumping ground. Like, people that do breed, they're not going to be able to just dump a horse at auction knowing that, they can sell it to a kill buyer for meat. So that's going to take away a lot of the supply as well. But there's not going to be 60,000 horses. There may be a couple of hundred, there may be 1,000, but there are plenty of rescues. If you look on, there's a website that I know of that has over 1,000. And personally, myself, we've sent emails to over 1,700 horse rescues. I mean, we're willing and able. If you have a horse that you can't rehome, come to us. We will rehome it for you. There are plenty.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's incredible.
Yep.
We've got to get that word out.
No, exactly. See, but the public need to know it's a legitimate question. And the thing is, the unwanted horse myth was made up by the pro slaughter industry. They made it up because obviously they wanted to continue, and it's just not true. It's just a false claim. You can go to our site and read the whole blog on the myth of the unwanted horse, and that explains that.
Yeah, I never thought about it before the fact that they would actually be wanting to breed horses to go right to slaughter. So through the guise of utilizing them for different things, sports, professionally, like horse racing, etc. And those horses, they have nothing to lose to breed them, because if they can't, they can sell them off as meat, and it's of course hidden and denied, but apparently it's happening, right? So there's no doubting that. So Siri, you were going to also address this, I think.
Well, Beck did a great job covering it. And it's just so important to know that truly, if we banned slaughter, there would maybe be 1,000 horses or 2,000 horses needing homes. And because there are more than 1,700 rescues around the country, it most certainly would not be a problem. So that's definitely a myth that we want to dispel. Back to your question about, does horse meat show up in our food? I've heard, and Beck, you'd have to correct me on this, the facts, but that it can show up in dog food and stuff like that, which is just horrifying, because then again, if that is true, that means that our dogs would be eating toxic meat. So yeah, I don't know the facts on that, however, but
longer, but I'd check that fact too. Yeah, I'm sure it does somehow. I'm sure there's a way they find a way to do it.
Yes. It's something we don't even want to risk.
Oh no.
So if we eliminate it, then we don't have to risk that. So you answered what will happen to the unwanted horses. Using taxpayer dollars to subsidize horse slaughter is fiscally irresponsible. And I've heard that one before. You have that on your website. So would one of you like to address that?
Yeah, we can definitely debunk that myth. And I'd love to educate Americans on this, because the thing is, horse slaughter is not banned here yet. So there's defund language where the government has defunded horse slaughter plant inspections. So we are being actually responsible, because it would be very fiscally irresponsible for the government to use our money to fund inspections of horse slaughter plants that are barbarically slaughtering these horses, and they're foreign owned. They're not even owned by us. So thank God that they're closed. Apart from the fact that it's so inhumane, like, why should we be funding USDA inspections that don't even, most of the time they're turning a blind eye. They don't even turn up, because our actual lobbyists went undercover there, and there weren't even USDA inspectors there making sure that it was done humanely, which is impossible. Humane slaughter, there's no such thing, as Siri explained. So yeah, I love explaining that. So let's keep them closed. Let's ban them, though. Let's ban it. The SAFE Act will ban horse slaughter here. It will ban it from opening, and it will ban the shipment of our beautiful, gorgeous, adorable, majestic horses to other countries as well. So it will do both.
Right. Okay. And Siri, would you like to add?
I just, this is an issue that over 80% of Americans agree that horse slaughter should be banned. It's a bipartisan bill, the SAFE Act. It's agreed upon by both sides. 93, a lot of people think that the horses that are going to slaughter are sick and emaciated and, injured. And that is just not the case. The kill buyers are buying 93% of the horses that are at the auctions where the kill buyers are buying them. 93% are healthy, sound, and young. Yep. So it's not the sick, emaciated horses. And as far as what happens to the sick, emaciated horses, we will find humane euthanasia for those horses. Why should a sick, ill horse get on a truck, an overcrowded truck, to slaughter for 2 to 3 days with no food and water? Why would we put any animal through that? But so people think that it is a dumping ground for old, sick horses, which is horrible. It's not. 93% of the horses that the kill buyers are buying, they want a lot of meat. They want a healthy, sound, strong horse. Yeah. And that's what they're getting.
That's a problem.
And older horses would be tough. It's just like, you want to think about it. It's horrific. And another interesting thing about your whole program is that you have such incredible celebrity support, like Melissa Etheridge. This is actually an article, Americans Want Congress to Shut Down Horse Slaughter Industry. And I think a lot of Americans feel that way. And there you go again. It's okay. I do it often too. And then I just wanted to show a quick clip of actually on your website, you can check this out, of all the Wow. Are there any stories you would like to share about meeting any or getting to know any of those celebs? I know there was something with Willie Nelson.
We are just so grateful to have their support. They have been incredible. And every single one of them is just as passionate about making this happen. We had an incredible gala in February. Beck can tell you a little more about that, but most of the celebrities came to this event and it was unbelievable. Melissa Etheridge played through the entire time. We had Antigone Rising playing music and Smokey Robinson was there. It was pretty incredible. But Beck, you can speak to that.
Yeah, it's crazy, that even went ahead because literally the day after, like COVID kind of went rampant and they closed everything. But I'm so grateful that my wife pushed me to doing this because it was a really, really difficult decision to me as co-founder to go ahead with it. And my wife had a bone marrow transplant 3 days before. And I didn't want to leave her. I was like terrified to leave her. Like I'm shaking even thinking about it, but I did because we had to do it for her and for the horse. She looked at me and she said, it was almost like she was saying, if I don't make it, you have to do this. And I thought, I don't even want to go there. But she was like, you have to go for me and for the horses. So we went, we raised $500,000. And we needed that because people say, even my mom said to me, well, that's a lot of horses you could have saved. I said, Mom, we've been saving horses for 3 years. We have spent almost $500,000 of our own money saving horses in 3 years. We want to save millions of horses. There's been over 1 million in 20 years. So yes, 500,000 is a lot of money, but we want to stop it altogether. There's no point in constantly rescuing and saving when we can stop the entire industry. So that's what we use raise that money, and we started our campaign. We have the 2 best lobbyists in the world, 2 best animal lobbyists in the US, and an amazing creative director who's done some beautiful work with our videos, and we have a social media team as well. So we use that to create this huge campaign in order for the public. We've reached 14 million people, and thanks to you, Lindsay, on this show, we hope to reach a lot more.
Oh, thank you for being on, and your message is so important, and I'm just honored to be able to help you share it. And another thing that you guys have done, is if you haven't done enough, is you started a sanctuary, a rescue called A Show Believe Ranch. Oh, no, that's Believe Ranch and Rescue. I'm reading my notes. How silly. Let me just show a picture. Let me show the picture. Okay, Believe Ranch and Rescue. Oh my gosh, this first picture just alone got me, of this horse. Can you tell us a little bit about who this individual is here that we're looking at?
He's our beautiful boy, Halo. He's an amazing horse. We rescued him from the road to slaughter. He was 4 years old. He was a stallion. So we brought him in. He was actually pretty healthy, but we got him gelded. What we do when we rescue horses is we bring them in, we give them the medical care they need. Some of them are very sick, some of them are in good form, but we give them the medical care that they need, and we give them just tons and tons and tons of love. And then we start giving them training, just so that we know we can find them an incredible home in the future. And Halo was a 4-year-old stallion. He's now a gelding. He's an amazing riding horse. He's gentle, he's loving, he's kind, and he's just going to make the perfect companion for someone.
Wow. So how many, you may have said it, but I missed it. How many do you have that are up for adoption right now?
On the property, we have 23 horses that are up for adoption.
25. You always get it wrong.
Oh, sorry, 25. I always get it wrong because it's constantly changing. Yeah. So just for an example, Lindsay, it was my birthday a couple years ago, and I said to Beck, I want to rescue 2 horses on my birthday. And she said, okay, but only 2. And we came home that day with 9 horses. So this is kind of how we roll here. But yes, so we've saved 117. All of them have either been adopted out or rehomed, except for the 25 that are here right now on our property.
That's amazing. And I have one more picture here. I was wondering if you wanted this event, special equine therapy event. Is that something you have often, or is that going on now?
We'll be having this often. This is our first one that is tailored for everyone to come and just to get a sense of what equine therapy is. But we are going to be running programs for different groups, some for people with PTSD, some for people going through cancer or cancer survivors. So all different sorts of groups. But horse therapy is so incredibly powerful. They've helped me heal and get to a place where I'm cancer-free and getting stronger every day. And we want to share that with the world and the community. We want people to understand that these horses can help, cure PTSD and addiction. So many people, struggle with addiction and have tried all different kinds of rehab. And sometimes they come to equine therapy, and that's the thing that turns it all around for them. So yes, this is something we do here. There are so many programs all around the country, but definitely look into it. It's so powerful for kids with disabilities and autism. It's just, they're incredible. They're true healers.
And that's just what we need in the world now. So if this ends and all of these horses go to sanctuaries all over the US, possibly the world, imagine how much that's going to exponentially help heal the world. And we need these kind of programs so much, not just for the horses, not just for being a humane person who has compassion in their heart, but for the world itself, for the planet itself. Everything is so interconnected. And every story I do, it always comes back to that thing that it's one big circle and we're all part of this whole. And it's incredible how that just comes over and over. It just always astounds me. It gets me very emotional. I do want to show your fundraiser here for a moment. So this is Our Hands Action Fund that people, if they want to donate, they can go either to the website or to this GoFundMe. Is that correct? You have two going on.
Oh, I think GoFundMe might have. That was for our first campaign to raise money for our bigger fundraiser. So I think the best thing is just to go to ourhorsesinOurhands.org. And, don't ask for donations. I mean, it'd be amazing to get some, but all we ever ask is 60 seconds of someone's time. Like, if you don't have 60 seconds, please get a life, but no offense, but 60 seconds to save a horse, come on. Yeah.
So it's more that you want people, donations, no one wants to turn down money, but it's more that you just really want people to take action now. And it's really important that it happens now, because this is a critical time. So is there anything else that you would like to share, or any other about the bill that you'd like to share, or anything else you feel that people should know? If not, we still have 15 minutes left, and I was going to ask you a couple of questions about how people can help themselves as activists stay strong. But let's first see if you guys have anything else you want to share, because I want to make sure we get that. Go ahead.
I would like to say, definitely donations are so important to us, because we do need that kind of help. Beck and I are terrible at asking for financial help. But we know we need it, and it's for the horses. But really, this is so incredibly important to us, and we are finding such great leverage with these letters that's our first ask, and our most important ask is just please click that button that says end horse slaughter now. That's everything to us. And for all of us out there, I mean, like I said earlier, it's the power of all of us uniting and coming together and making a difference, because in DC, they need to hear us, and they're hearing us. They know who we are. We're the only ones down there on the ground in DC making this happen. But the more they hear from each and every one of you, the more likely they are to put it on the floor and to get this SAFE Act passed. So each and every one of you, I know sometimes, like, I used to think, I'm just one person, how can I make a difference in this? You make a huge, enormous difference. And you can send a letter every single day. You can send, as many letters as you want, but you are making a huge difference. And when this passes, you will be a part of making history, and we will be so grateful to you. So don't ever underestimate the power of you. You are so very important.
That's really great to hear, especially, as I say, people get discouraged as activists because the problem seems so huge. But as you guys have proven, nothing is impossible. And you guys are examples of that, great examples of that. So, Beck, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's great. We're very grateful for you for having us on your show, and we just need to continue to get the message out, to educate people. I would like to say that, there are people that just need education on it. And they say it's a necessary cruelty. That's just simply not true. But instead of going into all the details of some of the common myths, we'd just love you to go to our website, because the person that has written the fact sheet there and all of our blogs, he is an activist and a lobbyist. He wrote the SAFE Act bill, and he's been doing this for 20 years. And some people say, well, what would you know about horse slaughter? We know enough, but this guy knows everything. He has literally gone undercover. He was the reason why this man is just so incredible. They closed slaughterhouses here because of him. He's risked his life for these horses, and we need to honor this man, and we need to get this done for our horses. And he's the one that's the education behind this. So all the facts are on our website. All of the myths are on our website. And most of the questions that people have that are uneducated, they're all on our website. So please go there and just read our blogs and our facts. Yeah.
Thank you. Siri, can you give some words of advice to people when they feel they want to take on a tremendous challenge, those times when all that doubt and insecurity hits? What are some tools? Can you give us a couple of tools to use?
Absolutely. I think during my toughest challenges, the most important thing is stacking memories of times where I overcame something that I didn't think I would, or where I achieved something that I didn't think I would be able to achieve. We all have proof. We all have proof in our lives where we have overcome and where we have achieved. And in moments of doubt or moments where you're lacking the confidence, stack all those memories, write them down, remember the times you have achieved, remember the times that you have overcome, stack those and focus on that. And it's taking the first step. Like everything magnificent that we can achieve in our lives, or magnificent as far as joy that we get in our lives, is on the other side of fear. And fear is always going to be there. Let's look upon that as excitement, because you're taking on, something big and something challenging. It's excitement, not fear. Take that first step, because everything on the other side of fear is magical and impactful and amazing. And every single person deserves to have that. And, being afraid, but doing it anyway, that's what courage is. And we all have the ability to be courageous. Take that first step, because the other thing I've realized through my life is that we are so much more powerful than we could ever imagine. We all underestimate the power that is within us, the magic that is within us. Open yourself up to the possibility of that and dream big, and then go about taking baby steps, but taking action and believing in you and backing yourself and never giving up. Because you may fail along the way, you may be disappointed, but if you're not willing to succeed, if you're not willing to fail, you're actually not willing to succeed. Failure is a part of the process. When we fail, we learn. When we get disappointed, we learn. And when we fail, we grow. And that's how we make progress, and that's how we succeed. So it's a part of it. So don't get discouraged. If you fall down once, dust yourself off, get back up again and try again, because that's what it looks like. And you will ultimately succeed.
Great. Thank you so much. You don't lose until you quit, right? You're
That's
not.
right.
So never stop. Beck, we've got just about 8 minutes left, something like that. Can you just tell us a little bit about team building? Because I know many times activists, they have the same cause in mind, but somehow they get separated. And if we could come together. So I know when you're doing, you're taking on a challenge, there's a lot of things that come up. And how do you do the team building? How do you work with that? Can you explain that?
Look at me. I mean, you just heard from my amazing wife. I have the best partner in crime you could ever ask for. I mean, listen to her. Like, we just bounce off each other. We balance each other. And I really, really know and believe that, and I've never experienced it on this level. We do our priming every morning, and we ask the universe or God or your creator, whoever you believe in, we ask them, we send it out to the universe, and we tell them what we want, and ask them for help. And it sounds foo-foo, it sounds crazy, and my wife's even way more into this than me, but it has been incredible how the universe, because we're doing something for greater good, has supported our every single step. We have things happen, and we look at each other, and we just, at night, we have our little get together at dinner and talk about what we've happened in the day. And we just say great day. My wife's saying great day, and she's going through a freaking bone marrow transplant, but always find the good. And so many amazing things have happened from this. And we've had the guy who wrote the bill has come to us. We've had support from the most incredible social media expert. We've had friends, family, celebrities getting behind this. And we really haven't even had to ask. We've asked the universe, but it's come to us. And it does sound crazy, but I really believe that the universe has conspired, even with COVID, has conspired to support our mission. And we always, and my wife this has been really something I've learned from her, that you've always got to find the positive in everything. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, I was hysterical. I was more upset than her. I was shaking. And she said, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to live. I'm making the decision now. I'm going to live. And she just it was never poor me, why me? And we saw people going through it, diagnosed at the same time, and they didn't have that positive energy. And, you ask the universe for what you want, and I really believe that it helps you, and it brings people into your family that you need, and into your mission that you need. And when you're real, you're authentic, and you're fearless. I'm not saying we weren't scared. I was terrified go public with the statement that we're going to ban horse slaughter. Like at first we were like, oh my God, people are going to think we're freaking crazy. But once it was done and we started our campaign, like, let's get ready for the trolls and the pushback. But you know what? 90% of people are so incredible and so supportive and will do anything to help support us. So.
Wow. And speaking of support, there's 3 steps that we would like you to take. That they are to go to the website, horsesinOurhands.org, and take the action to follow the steps through. We've shown that before, but for the new people coming on, please go and check that out. Also, you can make a donation, and you can write a letter to your editor and use your social media skills. We haven't talked about that. I meant to say it, but I've been so fascinated. Please share out this video. Please have watch parties. What you can do to help is to get the word out. Please take action, vote. In a sense, it's kind of like voting. Get out there and make your voice heard. And also take the 3 steps and share if you would, because you can see this is an amazing cause and we all should be behind it. These horses need us. They are one of the most vulnerable creatures. They're so gentle, they're so kind, they're so beautiful. And like you say, they give so much back in therapy. There's no reason to treat them this way. So please, everyone, take action now.
Thank you.
Ladies, thanks for being on. It was so great to have you on today. And I hope that you'll come on again and tell us about your progress as we go forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, everyone, we are signing off. Please tune in again next week for the Action Hour. This is Lindsay tuning off and saying goodbye. Bye-bye.